So lots of garbage floating around Columbia University in New York City nowadays in many ways, shapes, and forms, including this underground manual. I'm going to show you a little bit more about it and explain what it's doing at Columbia University. Now, Columbia, a prestigious Ivy League university, nowadays more like an indoctrination factory for anti-Semites supporting terrorist groups like Hamas. We've seen the song and dance for over a year now, and scenes like this. Instead of students walking up and down the malls of this beautiful university, you have professional agitators, provocateurs stirring the pot and spewing anti-Semitism in support again of the terrorists. And this piece of trash right here is making its way around the campus. This is the underground manual. Gives provocateurs tips, tricks, and best practices on how to get away with protests, which are more like riots, let's face it, on campuses throughout the United States. There are several steps. Let's take a look at them, and then I'm going to take a look at a cheat sheet. That's basically your crib notes, your quick hitter guide, best practices, tips, and tricks, how to basically stir the pot at these universities and colleges. There's step 1, create a cell. A cell is an autonomous group taking actions without detection as part of Palestine Action Underground. On we go. Step 2, how to pick a target. And so on and so forth, out to step 5, take action. And it reads, adrenaline and nerves will be pumping through you at the same time. This is normal. Make sure you run through your plans right before taking action. Another time to make sure everyone is on the same page, then go for it. The day has come. Your action is planned. You're all equipped and ready to go. Good luck. And you see the picture of the mass creep in their orange jumper, gloves on, smoke bomb intact, Palestine Action sign hanging off the building side. And this gives you the whole how to do it. And of course, like I said, any good instruction manual or guide always has a quick hitter page, is what I call it. Best practices, tips, and tricks. And that's essentially what they call it. Let's take a look at this beauty. That'll give you more resources and ways to riot, stir the pot, and just cause good old-fashioned law-breaking trouble. And by the way, before I get to that list, I just want to acknowledge these guys, the Sharion Collective. This is right off their X page. And you can see they give you a description of what they do. Surveillance network, news, opinions, pro-democracy, scraping digital fingerprints to aggressively track and expose terrorism. And that's what they've been able to do in exposing this manual that's been floating around Columbia again. So let's take a look at the tips and tricks guide that goes along with the manual that the Sharion Collective pointed out. So up top, you see in the red letter, I've got to read it out loud. It deserves that much credit. The sick anti-Israel, quote, underground manual, end quote, includes a laundry list of tricks and tips, such as these below, to help budding criminal anarchists inflict maximum damage. Let's go through a couple of these. Let's start at the top. Smashing stuff can also be very quick to do. With an efficient sledgehammer in your hand, you can cause a bit of damage. Let's go down to the middle. Fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers can be repurposed, refilled with blood red paint, so when it's sprayed, it makes a big splash. Some key slogans you can use are Free Palestine and More Criminals. Didn't we just see that? Let's go back to that real quick. Yes, we did. Step 5, take action. There we go. I knew that sign looked familiar. Let's go back to the tips and tricks list. Now, I was reading right in the middle, fire extinguishers. Let's go down 2 from the bottom. Face covering is key. How about that? Isn't that interesting? I can talk more about that in a moment at Columbia University. Last one, let's read it. Cash is king in all caps. When buying equipment, whether it's spray paints or sledgehammers, don't leave a paper or digital trail. So you get the idea. They give you a ton of tips on how to pull off a riot in support of terrorists, and basically how to denigrate and hate on Jews. Anti-Semitism at its absolute worst, alive and well in the United States at Columbia University, but not for long. And as the Trump administration takes action, they hurt you the most when they hit you the hardest, where it hurts the worst. And that's in the bank account. Now, these universities like Columbia have millions and millions upon hundreds of millions, dare I say, into the billions in endowment funds. However, they want that free Uncle Sam do-re-mi. So Trump said, I'm going to take away $400 million in funding from Columbia if you don't do X, Y, Z. Columbia kind of balked at it. They let the inmates run the asylum, meaning the anti-Semites, for a little bit longer, and they've rioted like the scenes we got used to seeing last spring. There you go, carrying into this spring. But Trump, not going to take it. This is not the Biden administration. Yes, daddy's home. We have a new sheriff in town. So in sports terms, for the anti-Semites, it's the bottom of the ninth. Get your last licks in, have your jollies, because the fun's about to be over. So Trump slaps them with removing the federal money, and again, the tune of $400 million, and Columbia says, okay, we will try to comply with your terms to get the money back. Some of those terms include no covered face masks allowed at Columbia. Also, redoing your admission policies, basically not allowing terrorists or aspiring terrorists, provocateurs, troublemakers in to Columbia. Again, it's an institution of higher learning, not an indoctrination factory breeding supporters for terrorists. And who knows, maybe even become terrorists themselves, some of them. In a way, shape, and form, they already are. And they also want legal action taken against by Columbia against the agitators, the provocateurs, the troublemakers who have been stirring it up since last spring. Show them the door and fight back against them. And Columbia, show some gumption, show some backbone, and lay the law. That's what Trump wants, and that's what he's going to wind up getting, because the university, in the end, doesn't want to lose the money. Whatever it takes, it's time to rid Columbia University and the others. There are about 60 on that list right now that are going to lose federal funding if they don't clean up their act, including my university, Arizona State University. So Columbia, ASU, and the rest of them, it's time to clean your university and rid it of anti-Semitism. Get back to hitting the books and academia and becoming an institution of higher learning. That's what college, that's what universities are all about, and that's what they should be about forever.